not sure if we've been working ground or picking up rocks this morning. Andrew, look at that dust coming out of there. That's crazy, dude. Can you tell the people who the 24th president was?
Yeah, I can. It was Grover Cleveland.
Well, then who was the 22nd president?
Grover Cleveland.
That doesn't make any sense.
He was president twice.
Well, we did finally get started planting corn, and now we got stopped. This right here is the hydraulic pump that pushes the fertilizer from the saddle tanks back to the planter. And it just started spewing hydraulic oil. Nobody has one tonight, so we're kind of down until tomorrow morning. Unfortunately, we just got done loading up with seed, and I was going to plant till midnight tonight, but not much you can do. Well, as you can see, we're back in business. The only mistake I made when I was putting that pump back on the tractor this morning was forgetting to hit record on the camera that I had set up. I don't have time to take the pump back off and put it back on and fake the scene for you guys as if this were some sort of reality TV show. I gotta plant corn. So just imagine me bolting it on, hooking up some hoses, tightening up some hose clamps, and then here we are, planting corn again. So things are working amazing today. I'm very happy. The ground is nice and dry, so nothing's sticking to the planter, but we've got moisture underneath where we need it. Look at how good of a job that Joker did. This is so smooth to plant into. I have been experiencing a few technical difficulties with row 2. The seed tube, for some reason, is having trouble counting seeds. I've moved the meters around. I've done some digging and verified everything's working fine, but I'm gonna have to replace that seed tube eventually because it's getting just a little confused. So the meter is the part of the planter that actually picks up the seed and then drops one seed at a time down the seed tube. Now underneath the meter you have your seed tube, which is basically just like a water slide that you would go down at the water park. The meter drops the seed into that tube and it slides on down into the ground, and on its way down there's a sensor in that seed tube that counts the seeds and determines if you're dropping enough seeds. Now, like I say, I've moved meters around and I've verified that the meters are working properly, so we are dropping the right number of seeds. The seed tube on row 2 is just getting old and can't seem to count that fast anymore. Well, just got moved to a different field, and this is something I've never done before. This was corn last year, and then it was strip-tilled about a month ago. I'll explain more as we go on here what the whole idea behind strip-till is, but this definitely feels strange. I'm not used to planting in these conditions at all. Well, that's not good. You know, I thought it was going to be an absolute piece of cake to take this tire off, and this side was, but I couldn't get the wrench on the other side without taking this gauge wheel off, and I couldn't get the gauge wheel off without almost completely taking the nitrogen knife off. Then I could get my wrench in there and get the bolts out. Then once I got the wheel off, I realized this thing weighed about 200 pounds. Whew. You know, I think what happened to that tire was it was just so thin that a corn stalk just poked right through it, because I'm looking at these other 3 tires in the middle of the planter, and now that I'm looking at them next to a brand new one, they're not in very good shape. I hope they last through the rest of this planting season, but I wouldn't guarantee it. All right, let's talk strip till for a second. When you're looking out ahead of the tractor right now, it almost looks like I've already planted this field if you didn't know any better. But these are not planter tracks. These are tillage strips that were made by a special machine called a strip till bar. Now, we don't actually own one, so we paid a neighbor to come in and do this on about 300 acres for us so we could try it out this year and see if it's something we might want to pursue doing more of in the future. A strip till bar is a really expensive machine, especially this one that's capable of putting the dry fertilizer right into the strips. So it's not something you're just gonna go out and buy one just to try it. Now the idea here is that it's beneficial to leave that residue in place in between the rows to help control weeds, to control erosion, and to keep the moisture in. But you're also getting the benefit of the tillage pass to warm the soil and open it up where you're putting the seed and putting the fertilizer right where it needs to be. Well, I'm not mad that it's raining. I wish I could have had another 15 minutes because I only got 5 acres left in this field that I'm in right now, but I got to get out of here because I'm already starting to pick up a little bit of dirt and it's a long ways to the road from where I'm at. Well, that's kind of a bummer. I sort of wanted to run really late tonight, and I don't think we're going to get enough rain to really help anything, just enough to tack it up on top so we can't keep planting. Well, we didn't get much rain overnight, but it's raining a little bit right now. I see we got a flat tire on one of the gators, so I might as well get it torn off, run it into town, and hopefully they can fix it. This is kind of becoming my hangout spot. Well, they were able to fix it. Sometimes I wonder how many tires we have all together. It'd be quite a project to sit down and figure that out someday. Well, the sun came out for a little bit, and as hard as it is to believe, there's neighbors planting, so I got to get this out and see if it's fit to go. Huh. It's not as dry underneath as it was yesterday. We're getting just a little bit of dirt sticking to some things that I wish it wasn't sticking to. But I think we're gonna be all right. Well, my phone just beeped and told me that it's my bedtime. I didn't realize it was getting this late. It's after 10 o'clock already. I can't believe it's still working. I thought as soon as the sun went down, it was gonna start getting even wetter than it was before, but it seems to still be working just fine. I'm gonna plant the rest of this corn on corn ground, and as soon as we get over to this dividing line right here, where it was beans last year, I'm gonna fold up and go home. It's supposed to rain a little bit tonight, and I don't wanna be stuck with that seed in the planter in case we end up going somewhere different next. Well, the rain that they were predicting for last night never happened, which I guess is good. So we're gonna run out and try to get this corn planted on the rest of this field we were working on last night. We've got about 100 acres left to go that was bean ground last year, so it should plant a little bit better. The bean ground is always smoother. The tillage always works just a little bit better. It's usually less cloddy. I guess the only exception is if it's wet, then it seems like the chiseled ground usually dries off first and works a little bit better. But 9 times out of 10, the bean ground is going to be a better planting experience. Of course, now that we got everything loaded up, the sun has kind of gone behind this big bank of clouds. Hopefully it comes back out and the breeze picks up, because it was borderline last night when I quit. So we could use a little more warmth here. Well, this is a new one. I've never had a rock stuck here before. Huh, I don't think it hurt anything. It was really close to this hose, but everything looks okay. Well, it's working really good. The dust is blowing, the wind is blowing, the sun's not out, but it's gonna rain real soon. I got my trusty sidekick with me. Cole was hoping to get to do a lot of field work this weekend, and Mother Nature just had other plans, unfortunately. He's here babysitting me with seed right now because it's going to rain within an hour for sure, and probably a lot. We don't want to have a bunch of seed in the planter because who knows what's going to happen next. So we're just putting a bag or two in every couple rounds. We're going to fold up and go home as soon as it starts to rain. What's it looking like, Cole? That's not good, man. We don't have much time. Uh-oh, I got to turn around. Hold on. Hold this, would you? Go get your finger over the lens. That always looks really tacky.
I already did that. It's the Oreo situation, Carl. Just like you were talking
Oreo
about.
situation all over again. You know when you're coming up on a fence line, you're an auto steer and you can't get your Oreos open, you start to panic and breathe kind of heavy? It happens.
In case anyone out there's wondering, yes, this is the screens of a man that is overcompensating for something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Overcompensating for the lack of competence from the people in the buddy seat.
No, I didn't. Back is up, front is down.
Correct?
We're back in the saddle.
How's it feel, Cole? To be planting corn?
Feels great. It's be my one chance this year.
All right, everybody in the comment section, who does Cole look like with his new facial hair situation? We've got some ideas, but I want to hear yours. All right, this is your first big moment to screw up or not screw up. This waterway's pretty straight, so you don't have to shut them off, and you can just shut the whole thing off to once.
Oh no, we aren't doing that. We're professionals here. There it is. Like I never left.
Like you never left. Uh-oh. Cole, the window's getting wet.
Yeah,
what are we gonna do? Well, the race is on now. I don't want to get this planter all mudded up. And the tractor doesn't have any front fenders because they won't fit on with the saddle tank brackets. So it's not a good thing to get stuck in a big rainstorm with this tractor when you're on the road trying to get home. So I'm gonna try to beat this rainstorm home, and if the radar fakes us out and it turns out to not amount to anything, we'll just have to go back in a half an hour or an hour, but it looks like it's really gonna start raining. I don't know what's more frustrating than this. We've been in rain delay limbo for about 45 minutes now. It was sprinkling pretty good. The radar looked like it was gonna cut loose and rain hard. We got the tractor in the shed and then immediately it stopped sprinkling. So, I don't know what's happening. Well, it's raining up here, but I would almost bet 6 miles south of here where I just came from, it's probably not even raining yet. Well, it rained pretty good uptown and there's no dust on the gravel roads anymore, but I'm sitting in the driveway of this field that we were just in. I don't know, we might be able to come back. I mean, yeah. Well, we just got the rest of the seed put in, getting the tanks topped off with liquid again. We're gonna go back and try to finally finish this field. I mean, look at this. Look. There's dust. You would almost think that this was some sort of camera trickery, like I took this shot before we went home, but I can assure you that's not what happened. Look at how dirty the windows are from driving home in the rain. And if you look at the yellow tanks on the planter, you can see the mud on the tanks from driving home in the rain. Yesterday morning when it was raining, I would have never dreamed that by the end of the weekend we would have this 180-acre cornfield planted, but I only got to make it one more round and we'll have her licked. Can't believe it. What a strange turn of events this has been. We're almost out of seed. It's going to be close. The closer you get to the end, the more you don't want to open that last bag of seed. Look at how far I have to go. Come on. You can do it. We made it! That's something I potentially get more excited about than I really need to. This is also the best time. Well, I've already folded the planter up, so this is the second best time to zoom out, take a really broad look at the field, and just make sure that there aren't any areas that didn't end up getting filled in, because that would be really disappointing. Looks good to me.